Hi Aries, this is your horoscope for December 2017. Thanks for joining me. Now, you'll probably be aware that in December, Mercury, the communication planet, goes into retrograde, which means that communication becomes more stifled and more difficult. Now, you're a fire sign as Aries, and Mercury is in Sagittarius, so that's another fire sign. It's not going to feel as uncomfortable for you as for a lot of the other signs. However, Mercury does go retrograde in your 9th house of travel and movement and education, learning, growth in a general sense. So what you may experience is difficulties in those areas. And Mercury retrograde isn't dangerous, it's just a pain. You know, it's like luggage getting lost and flights being delayed, submitted essays not being received, that kind of thing. So don't be overly concerned with it. It lasts until the 22nd of December. Next thing that happens is on the 3rd of December, we've got the full moon in Gemini, and that's an important one. It's all about 11/11, which is a really important kind of gate moment for a lot of people. So I've made a separate video on that. Have a look at that video. It goes into a lot more detail. From the 11th until the 31st of December, we have got Saturn, the planet of structure and security, and examining the things in your life in a very kind of critical way. That starts to conjunct the Sun until the 31st of December. So from the 11th until the 20th, expect to be somewhat rigid in your thinking and indecisive. So should I stay? Should I not stay? Should I turn left or right? It's going to be very kind of uncomfortable in terms of making decisions. From the 20th onwards, when Saturn changes sign and goes into Capricorn, you're going to be rigid, but much more decisive. So if you want to get something done, work you want to create, you'll immediately not have that torn feeling and you'll just go for it. Saturn and the Sun, they're also both in your 9th house of travel, education, movement. So everything for you this month is about expanding and changing your environment, maybe going on a trip, learning something new, but it's really kind of very serious. It feels very kind of, I need this information to make something happen. Make sure that you remember that, to have a little bit of fun and to make things nice for yourself. It's not as serious as it will first appear. From the 17th of December until the 6th of January 2018, we've got Mars trining Neptune. So Mars sits in your 8th house, Neptune is in your 12th, and that's really going to make you feel one of two ways. You're either going to feel hard done by the institution you belong to, the company you work for, or you're going to take it as an opportunity to make your dreams a reality. But we've got Mars and Jupiter sitting there in your 8th house of institutions, other people, bureaucracy, paperwork, all of that stuff. And because it's positioned the way it is, I really get the sense that you'll feel hard done by in terms of the work that you do for other people, and you'll start to consider your own dreams, your own desires, especially when it comes to work and how you can make that a reality, or those if you have several. On the 18th of December, going through until the 31st, New Year's Eve, we've got Saturn conjuncting Venus, and that happens in your 9th house as well. So again, Saturn is in Sagittarius until the 20th, then it goes into Capricorn, and you're going to feel protective and kind of uncertain in terms of your affections from the 18th until the 20th. But then afterwards, you're going to feel really certain, protective, and you know what it is you love, what you want to do, how you want to progress. So watch out for the 18th and 19th. That's going to be a period of kind of indecision for you. Also on the 18th, we've got a new moon in Sagittarius. That's going to be all about new beginnings. And the moon and the new moon, sun and moon, sun and moon being a new moon, sit in your 9th house. Again, has to do with how am I going to progress. So you're kind of thinking about the year ahead. What am I going to do? What am I going to work on? What am I going to learn? Where am I going to go? All of those things are at the top of your at the front of your mind. And you as an Aries, obviously, being the first sign of the zodiac, you're ahead of everyone else, and you're kind of thinking along the lines of what's happening in the new year already. So you're way ahead of the rest of us. So that's good. New beginnings will come in. and you'll be prepared for them because of the work you're doing here. On the 20th, we've got Saturn going into Capricorn. Now, this is a major shift. Saturn stays in each sign for 2.5 years. I've tried 5 times to make a video on that. I was outside. First time it started raining. Second time a tractor came along and started cutting down trees. Third time I was at 22 minutes and a cyclist drove up behind me, and instead of just continuing, she decided to stop and talk to me. So I just lost my thread completely. So Saturn in Capricorn means that the responsibility and the work falls on you, basically. So if you want something done, you're not going to think, shouldn't I, like you did when it was in Sagittarius. You're just going to say, I am here to work. Kind of robotic. It's very kind of, if you want something done, you got to do it yourself. So again, make sure that you add some levity into your life, and it's not like, if you have these huge ambitions and now Saturn in Capricorn is saying it falls to you. You have to do it all on your own. You have to work hard, and if you don't do it, you failed. So just kind of watch out for that. Obviously, that's a bit much. On the 21st, we've got the winter solstice, so that's the shortest day of the year. So if you have, problems with the light, if you're in the northern hemisphere, if you're in the southern hemisphere, it's the longest day of the year. But if you're in the northern hemisphere, then I would suggest for you, Aries, you got a lot going on in your 9th and 10th. So 9th is about traveling and kind of escaping. So read Dracula or something, someone who's worse off than you in the dark, basically. So read something, maybe go on a trip intellectually if you can't actually travel in person. On the 24th of December, so Christmas Eve, we got Mars and Jupiter sitting together in your 8th. We've got Uranus in your sign of Aries in your 1st house, and that connects with your midheaven in Capricorn. So Christmas Eve, you'll get ideas about how you can progress in your life, and you're kind of projecting into the future. Where am I going to be this time next year? And those things are rattling around your head. Christmas Day, the 25th, we've got the Moon, Chiron, and Neptune in Pisces in your 12th house, and all of that energy in the 10th. So it's you're really going to be reflective about the things that have happened to you in your working life in 2017, whether they were good or bad, and whether you want to repeat that or not. So again, reflective. Amidst all of the celebrations and stuff, you're thinking along, what am I going to do in future, which is great. 31st of December, New Year's Eve. We've got a mystic rectangle in the chart. It combines with your Mercury, your North Node, the Moon in Gemini, and your South Node. Wow. So New Year's Eve, all of this reflective kind of work that you've been doing, you're now going to be able to kind of almost glimpse the future, and especially if it comes to how you can actualize yourself through what you've learned and what you're communicating and what you want to communicate, and how you can be of service to other people through that communication. So New Year's Eve, again, a final kind of preparation kind of moment for you, but to a greater extent where you're almost clairvoyant and you're seeing glimpses of what you want to do, where you want to go, how you want the future to be. So for you, this month is really, really energized. It's really productive. Watch out for the communication issues again. Just make sure you double check everything, and it shouldn't be too much of a problem. I hope that gives you an idea of what you'll be working with in December. If you'd like a private reading with me, please visit my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the Readings tab to order your reading. Please remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I'll speak to you next month.